and Stanexai. And since then, we've not really seen real engagement. So are we going to adopt a wait-and-watch policy? Because it seems like the Haqqanis have set the tone and tenor when it comes to ties with India, with the Indian administration. Anas Haqqani's tweet, in many ways than one, really sets the tone over there when he speaks of Somnath temple, taking pride in smashing the idol of Somnath.
Look, we are in different businesses, okay? You are in the news business, I'm in the diplomacy business. By nature, I would be more empirical, would be more, I'd be more careful about my judgments. I mean, by the nature of our business, okay, as opposed to yours. So I am not sure I would completely agree with some of the things you say. You know, if this person has taken charge, and I mean, fine. I mean, people may take positions, people may tweet. We can speculate, that is all right. But I think when it comes to policy making, I would do kind of double, triple, quadruple diligence, be very, very deliberative about my judgments. I have, you know, there's no great compulsion on me to take very sharp, definitive positions and be public about it. You know. So there could be things happening which, you know, I may not be able to speak about, but at the moment, as I said, I mean, as you said actually, our primary contact has been in Doha, and that's where it is.
Minister Jaishankar, from the Haqqanis that Geeta was talking about, I'd like to draw your attention now to Pakistan. With everything that's happened in Afghanistan, and like you said, many things are still in movement and in flux right now, how much more complicated has it made our navigation of the situation with Pakistan? Because the perception is that the ISI has won with everything that's happened in Pakistan, and therefore the simplistic way it's been looked at is that this has been a strategic setback for India. Vis-a-vis Pakistan, how are you navigating that?
So, again, I would take the same situation and say I have to operate out of a given a set of assumptions. I can't say I wish it hadn't been like this, or the Americans had stayed on, or they'd have gone out a different way. They've done what they've done. I have to live with it and deal with it accordingly. If you ask me, say, October 8th, is my security situation more complicated than it was on August 8th? Of course it is. Now, but you yourself would agree with me that sometimes we all tend to make very sweeping statements or judgments or assessments. I think the picture is a little more complex, more granular than that. It's been what? It's been less than 2 months since the Taliban took Afghanistan. So, and it's quite obvious also that things are far from settled, even in Kabul. So, I would urge some patience, some deliberation, and some caution. Now, I understand. I mean that in this day and age, that's not how media can approach it, because you people have different compulsions, different timelines, and different pressures. So we will have this gap between you and me. You will keep provoking me with very strong statements saying, okay, react to that. I'm not ducking it. I'm just introducing an element of, sort of practicality out there, and say, look, there are a lot of things, there are many things we know, there are many things we don't know. And I'll have to, and in some cases, we will wait for the situation to play out.
Shiv is hoping that you'll bat like Virendra Sehwag. You're offering a defense like Rahul Dravid instead.
Absolutely.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
How do you see the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan impact our internal situation in Jammu and Kashmir? We've seen a ceasefire for the past several months now being broken, with terrorists being infiltrated into Jammu and Kashmir in higher numbers than recently. We've seen a spate of killings over the last few days. Are you concerned that the situation in Afghanistan complicates the already complicated situation in the valley?
Obviously, I would be concerned about what has been happening in the last few days, especially some of the targeted killings. But whether I would make that connection to what is happening with Afghanistan, I don't know. Uh, uh, I would like to see evidence of some kind of connection there if there is. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I would obviously be concerned at some of the things which have happened in Srinagar.
In terms of the internal security itself, there are reports, not just Indian intel reports, but also the UN reporting that Pak-based terror groups now joining hands and ranks with the Taliban is a concern. Is that a real concern for India?
Look, Geeta, there were a very large number of Pak nationals who you call them foreign fighters, call them terrorists. They were there. I mean, it's not something I need to say. There are UN reports which speak about them, okay, and speak about them in the thousands. Now, again, you don't need to believe me. Look at some of the debates which are taking place even in the United States, in the Congress, congressional hearings, questions being asked saying what was the role of Pakistan at this point of time in that situation. And you've seen the responses from the American administration, which are very telling. So things are happening there. I mean, the role of Pakistan in what happened in Afghanistan is not a secret. I mean, it is very, very public. It is more public now because even they now speak about many of these things. So obviously that is a concern for the entire neighborhood. I mean, for the whole region.
Minister Jaishankar, staying with Pakistan for a moment, there's been a ceasefire, between the two sides since February this year. The ceasefire violations themselves, as a result, have gone down, but there are still infiltrations happening. Dialogue hasn't been happening between the two sides for a while now. Could you give us a perspective of your vision of when you think things might sort of get back on track? We know about a probable back channel and things like that, but is it something that's foreseeable, sir? India and Pakistan talking to each other again?
By the way, I mean, the sense we don't talk is a bit exaggerated. They have an embassy. We have an embassy. I mean, our foreign ministry talks to the embassy, their foreign ministry talks to our embassy. So it's not like there is no communication. I mean, diplomats have continued to do what diplomats are supposed to do. I think the issue which you are, in a sense, pointing to was the fact that previously there was a beyond the routine diplomacy engagement on a certain set of issues. Now, this is not new. Some years ago, 2016 to be precise, the starting from Pathankot and then culminating at Uri, events went in a direction which made it very difficult to continue with that particular mode of engagement. And at the end of the day, there is a big question which all of us need to ask ourselves. When you say, when do you see that coming back? You tell me, when do you see Pakistan becoming a normal country? And for me, a normal country is a country which doesn't sponsor and execute terrorism against its neighbors, which trades with its neighbors on a MFN basis, which has connectivity with its neighbors, which allows people to move on the basis of visas, I mean, the way we do with all our other neighbors. I mean, if I look at a Bangladesh or a Nepal or a Sri Lanka or a Maldives, the question is, when do I have something similar with Pakistan? Now, right now, obviously the prospects don't look good, because the bottom line is that it is the not just the only one of our neighbors. There are very, very few